As always, I'm Danny O'Malley, Director of Marketing. Got Andy, VP of Sales. Jess, Chief Sales Officer at Quativa. Lisa is our amazing Quativa account manager extraordinaire special. I can't remember what your
Just
title
whatever
is.
hat I need to wear that day, I'll
Whatever,
put it on.
whatever. And it looks like we got Everett from Stores Power as well. Exciting times, everybody. So we are talking about the newest update to the Brightstar lease, powered by Service Finance and Quativa as well. And we're going to talk about utility savings-based underwriting, which is a high approval and different way of getting a loan approved or at least any kind of solar project approved than we've seen basically ever in the industry before, right? Is
Sounds
that
pretty cool.
is that accurate enough to say? This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is pretty cool stuff. This is something, I mean, Jess, I think you've brought it up on a couple calls before, but like this is something we've wanted in over the years for a long, long time. And it's taken this long for, I guess, banks to kind of understand and grasp of like, hey, when you save somebody money on their power bill, you are improving their financial situation. And so it's a great thing. And so that should make getting things approved a heck of a lot easier. So without further ado, without me blathering on, I will let you guys talk a little bit more about this because I think there's some really cool specifics that we should get to and just let everybody sink their teeth in.
Anything
Excited
you
for
want to
more
say
about
before
this.
we jump in? I know you wanted to start off.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to welcome everybody to this. This is kind of an exciting time right now with what Quativa is bringing to the table with Brightstar, partnered with stores through SFC. And so it's kind of this collaboration between some really smart people bringing something to the table that is hopefully going to change the way that you are in the home and how you can help homeowners with a new product that is like others but different than others and is going to give you the ability to bring more homeowners to the table that maybe weren't able to before by following a few specific kind of playbook rules. And that's what Jess and Lisa are going to go over. And then we'll have Everett kind of talk about like his badass products that he's got with
Yes.
stores and how that whole kind of meeting of the minds comes together, and then obviously how you can get these bad boys installed too. So we'll let Jess and Lisa take it from here. Everybody listen in. This is going to be dope.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. We're really excited about this. Glad Everett could jump on as well. CEO of Stores. It's gonna be awesome because we're in California, lots of batteries. So we've got a great product, and it's been fun to have him on some of these as well, where we get a lot of great feedback, a lot of education. I think the one thing I can say about Stores, among other things, he'll cover. He's the expert. I'll let him talk about it, but I love that they're all about education. And every time we bring him on, we get a lot of feedback like, man, that was really good. I learned a lot about the other batteries too, right? It's not like Stores is the only battery out there and fits every single situation. So I really appreciate the way Everett just tells it how it is. There's situations that Stores is the right way to go, and there's situations where maybe other ones are, but I think you guys will get a lot of enlightenment on the battery side because I know there's a lack of education out there and resources for this. So it's awesome that he's making time to jump on with you guys. So we'll go first. We'll jump into the main event, just talking about approval rates, right? That's the thing that people are struggling with right now in the industry. We like to be really transparent, direct about it, not sugarcoat it. We are hearing stuff about other finance products raising credit scores, and we just see it in the results, and we understand why, right? Like America's debt to income ratio has been a while since it's been this rough. I just got a car loan on the Cybertruck, 7.25, right? My last car loan was 199. So that doesn't help my debt to income ratio. I don't know if I qualify for solar right now with my
He's the candidate for utility savings approval.
You
That's
better
what
hope
we're
you
here
can
to
get some savings.
that's what we're here to talk about, right? Is like a creative new way that hasn't been seen before when it comes to approvals. That makes sense. It's not like, oh, this is going to last for a month and then it's going to go away because, we got our hand slapped and the bank figured out, oh, this is something that really makes a lot of sense. So just to really do quick intros on the relationships between the companies, Quativa is the tech platform that Service Finance chose to exclusively launch the Brightstar lease on. This thing's been in development for a couple of years. when you have a bank behind it, like Truist Bank, sixth largest bank in the nation, that's really helpful in a lot of ways. One of them is not moving fast. Banks don't move fast, right? So it's here. Everybody's excited. It came out since March. We've been doing beta testing, and now we've got this new savings-based underwriting that just launched a couple days ago. And so it's exciting to have a bank-backed finance company, right? Especially in today's world of instability. I mean, we saw some big news even today with one of the bigger companies going under, right? That we've worked with for a long time. So not great, not great for the industry. It's been a rough year. I've been doing it 15 years. Last year was the roughest I've seen. So everybody's looking for stability, reliability, ease of use. That's what this lease is focused on. So main features you're looking at are 80% approval rates is what we saw in the beta testing when we reran credit apps virtually with this new program. So we're going to talk about how to get that done and show you how to do it. But there are some really important factors besides that. It's not the only thing that's great about the lease. It's the industry's first equipment lease. So it's not production based. Essentially what that means to you guys that are in sales, it just is a lot easier to get paid. It's a lot easier for ESP's ops and finance team to get approvals, to get M1s, to get M2s, which means it's a lot easier for you to get those. So an example of that is a lot of other TPO products require 80 photos. There's 9 photos required for this. Now that's not what it's all about, but just a sample of what it's like, right? On that side, it funds like a loan. Ease of use is a big focus. Easy funding is a big focus for the development of this lease.
A lot of you guys out there right now may be thinking to yourself, I sold a TPO product the other day, and have you guys had to do any change orders recently based on production? I know the answer is yes. You probably had to do multiple change orders. And so think about what Jess just said there, that it's not production based. So change orders are not going to apply 90% of the time for a lease that's based on equipment versus something that's production based. So take it away, Jess. Just pause there.
It's a big
about
deal.
what
It
he just
is. It's
said.
a really big deal.
Yeah, we'll keep it simple. Like, I love that you emphasize that because I think it's one of the biggest things that I know the people have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
That's what's been lighting them up about this thing. We've had over 100 installers get on board in this. So just in the 4 states, it's active since March. And a big reason why is those guys understand it. So a couple other quick things, easy to transfer. There's a buyout option at year 6. First payment doesn't start till after PTO, the calendar month after PTO, right? So that's helpful. And then the normal underwriting guidelines are 650 FICO and 6,000 in stated household income. You have to save the customer at least $1. All right. So that's what you can kind of put in your head as far as what we're looking for on the credit side of things. Remember, it's stated household income. So if you know you've got someone with good credit score, but you can use the entire income of the house when you're stating that income. So that's just some tips a little bit on the credit criteria. Now, here's the main thing we came to talk about. If you save the customer 10% or more, which we are in California, so this is so easy. We don't have to talk about, well, maybe this utility you can't. I just sold a deal in California last week, and it's a fun ride to build that proposal and show that to customers. So you guys are spoiled, whether you believe it or not. I know it's harder to get indoors, but once you're there, you should close every deal with the savings you guys can provide, especially when you have the battery and all the ability to say that you can be protected if the power goes out, on top of the savings that you get by going solar. So if you're saving 10% or more, what changes is they don't look at debt to income ratio anymore. Debt to income ratio is the number one reason why customers get disqualified for getting solar with all finance companies. We have seen an average of credit score of 740 has what's been coming in since March on the lease. Yet there's still a bunch of declines. So it's not always credit score. I have a great credit score, but my debt to income ratio right now, after the Cybertruck, it's not great, right? So you knock on my door, I'm not going to probably qualify for some of the other finance options, but I will with this, because the debt to income ratio goes out the window if you're saving me 10% or more. Why can they do that? The bank is willing to do that because you're lowering their debt to income ratio by going solar. When I was starting solar 15 years ago, I got a decline like you guys, and it didn't make sense when I found out, well, their debt to income ratio is too high. But they had a 700 credit score, they had a 650, whatever. Yeah, but the debt to income ratio is too high, but I'm lowering their bill. Why do you care about their debt to income ratio? It's just the normal old school way everybody runs credit whenever you're getting a car, you're getting a Hummer like Everett's got, right? Like they look at his debt to income ratio, but SOAR's unique. Like we should still look and see if people are going to really pay their bills, but we're lowering a bill they're definitely used to paying, their power bill. That's why the bank's willing to underwrite based on savings. So that's what makes this unique. So yeah, you can't have any other code red stuff like BKs or mortgage lates in the last 12 months. Overall, guys, the thing to take away is we've seen 80% plus approval rates depending on which market you're in. So if you're just going to take all the declines you had in the last year and run them through this, you're not going to see an 80% approval rate. So I also want to make sure you're not hearing that somehow. So this is overall, if you're saving customers money, you can get rid of this as part of the credit criteria, which I haven't heard of anybody else doing that. So that's what really opens this up and has got these results. So Brightstar is a great option to give you great payment. We're going to talk about stores as well. And then the Quativa platform, we're going to actually show you guys how this all works, show you some real numbers. So if you guys used Quativa in the past, just want to touch on our business model has changed. About a year ago, we canceled every deal with every installer and sales deal we had and started over. We no longer do the marketplace setup. We are working directly with installers like ESP. Then they give the technology to their sales dealers and sales reps to use us as a point of sale system. So we are known for having everything in one place, from canvassing to the docs, right? So we are on iOS. So you need an iPhone, iPad, or MacBook to use us. The ops team and stuff doesn't need that to manage things. I saw Andy making changes yesterday on his PC, but as far as selling a deal, do it from your phone or your iPad is ideal. So let's show you guys, we'll go through a demo and then please put questions in the chat. Lisa's here. She knows the app better than anybody ever born, all of us combined. So she's going to answer the chat as we go. Everett will too, if you have specific stores back questions, but we'll help him out as he's presenting too, because we know a lot of those answers. And then if you have ESP specific stuff, Andy will be answering those in the chat. And then at the end, after Everett goes, we'll do some Q&A and make sure you guys, some of those will answer live just to add more context, because sometimes things can get lost in the translation just over the chat. So let's do it, guys. Let's show you the Quativa app in California. Built this one last night to get ready for this. So we've got a homeowner we're going to pull up. You can actually get all the premium features are included. So you can see if they're a renter, you can see their income range, all that stuff you guys get access to from ESP. They're not charging anything for that. They've got all the premium features. So going to plug in last year's usage. You can do their dollar amount or their kilowatt hours. Obviously the kilowatt hours are going to be a little more accurate. And then we're going to build a proposal. So what conditions the roof in? What type of roof? If you click metal roof, the metal roof adder will automatically be added, so you can't forget that. And then design. There's two ways you guys can do design. ESP has free access to design as a service for you guys right now. So this is what that looks like. If you want a pro to build a job for you and do the design, you can give them any special requests you have up front. Like maybe you don't even need the north side done. That's what I'm going to do. And then you've got a 30-minute timer that's going to go off. We average 22 minutes for those to come back, but it does have a 30-minute timer. It's 24/7, by the way. And then this is what will come back, in about 20 minutes later. This is what you can expect. You can see the shading by array. You have an irradiance map as well. So this is what you can expect to get back. You can have them do the design on, there's two different panel options. For example, you could have them do both if you wanted to. The other option you have is to do the design yourself. If you're in a hurry or you just like that control, you're welcome to do that. So let's show you what that looks like. Going to pull up the same home again and just draw it out myself, right? So we're going to skip over that because we don't need to do that today. But if you guys need training on that, there's some training videos built in. We'll show you how to do those things. So I'm going to sell this at $4 a watt. I don't know what you guys sell at, but I just wanted to give you guys some numbers. That's just for the solar only. And then we're going to load in a nice Brightstar 20 kilowatt hour battery. So they're going to run a lot of the house with this. Everett can give more details. You can see it in the background of his house. That's what he went with, it looks like. But if you want to go with the Essentials Plus, that's one that I think gets sold a lot. We'll let him talk about that as well. So you've got some obviously backup as well built in, and then the solar converted you do need to include with stores. So once we've selected our battery, we've selected the Brightstar finance option. Let's go look at the proposal. We'll show you guys kind of what the numbers look like. So this is where, as a sales doer, you can have your own logo here, or you can keep ESP's logo right there. Your name, and this company wanted to have their own logo, right? Productions here versus consumption. And then here's the numbers. They went from 523 and their lease payments 248. So if you include what's left over for like the utility payment, there's a little bit left over. This wasn't quite 100% offset, and just the connection fees, you'll end up with a total of 291 left over. And then you can fast forward like, hey, what's my payment going to be at year 5, year 10? There is a 3.5% escalator on the lease. So you can show them their total savings was $227,000. And you'll get to see that again summarized at the bottom after you walk them through the, installation process. These are some great visuals to kind of help support you doing that. And there's the summary. And this is usually where, guys will kind of close the deal and say, let's get you qualified. We'll take you through that experience as well. So the credit app, you can text or email this proposal. It's a web link. So you can open the proposal on any device. And then this is what the credit app looks like. Let's go show you kind of what that looks like. I'm going to give it, this one's technically a different customer in Florida, but this will simulate what happens if you don't get them. If you're saving them $1 or more, you can qualify them for normal underwriting. And then our system will come back and say, hey, if they're not qualified for the normal underwriting, you might need to lower the price per watt to get them to 10% savings to X. And it'll automatically remake the proposal and tell you the price per watt you've got to lower it to. So this is kind of just something we're going to show anyway.
We're not able to simulate that in California very often because typically homeowners are saving 10%, more than 10% right out of the gate, right? So we had to switch to a Florida.
Yeah, this is Florida, right? Like they had to go down to 288 to get this deal because they're paying, 14 cents a kilowatt hour, 13 cents a kilowatt hour. We're going to show you that's how it would work in case somehow you run into this, but I don't know of too many scenarios in California where you're not going to save them 10%. The point is what will happen for you guys is you're saving them 10% right out of the gate. All you're going to experience is probably a little bit longer credit check. Because the first 10 seconds, it's trying to do normal underwriting. And if they're not getting approved for that, it's just going to keep thinking for about another 20 seconds, 30 seconds to take them through the savings-based underwriting. Otherwise, you're just going to get that congrats screen. And then you're going to send docs. You've got a DocuSign in Katie's email from ESP and one from Service Finance. And as soon as she signs those, Lisa's the sales rep. She's going to get an email instantly that she's going to sign off on that HI as well. And then if you want to upload a picture of the utility bill and you haven't yet, you do need to here. And then STIPs. Lisa, I'm going to let you talk about STIPs and then just the last part to wrap up a sale. We're trying to give an overview, guys, and mix with a little bit of training because I know a lot of you guys want to go sell today.
Yeah, Service Finance really doesn't have a lot of STIPs, guys. They've got that 6,000 stated monthly income on the application, but they don't have an income STIP, right? So they're going to work with you. In the event that something does come up on the STIPs, you'll see it here on the screen. Quativa will talk to Service Finance in the background, bring back whatever that STIP is, and give you very clear expectations on what your next steps are going to be. Maybe having that customer call them directly, or maybe submitting a title, proof of title, something like that. So check the STIPs there after you get your approval, or, before you get your approval, you're actually going to see that. Once you get that satisfied, then the app's going to be able to go ahead and send those docs for you. Also, a utility bill. We will be submitting a utility bill for every single one of these deals to Service Finance. So if you don't upload that when you're getting your energy consumption, you're going to have to upload the utility bill here. Don't waste time by uploading a picture of your feet. I've seen people do that, guys. We need the bill for N2P. So if you want to get paid on this job, make sure you get us a bill within the last 3 months or so. From there, you'll see that everything will turn green, lease document signed, installation agreement signed, everything's uploaded, satisfied. The button right underneath documents and STIPs is going to open up, handoff project to installer. You're going to want to come back to this page in the app. If it's still showing like this, you can hit refresh in the bottom right. Sometimes if you leave it open for a little while, you'll need to refresh that. But you'll go to the handoff. You're going to answer a few questions. Select a couple suggested site survey times. I know ESP you guys have the option to go in and schedule with them directly. So if you just want to pop in sometimes there and still do that and call ESP, do that as well. But, you know, is there an HOA? Are there any locked gates? Just 5 quick questions, notes for the install team. Then you'll submit that. And as soon as you submit that deal, we push it over to ESP for you so you can see it in your pipeline with them. We also push that over to SFC so that you guys can start with the welcome call. I think that might be the next screen, Jess. I'm not sure. We can pause here for a minute. Oh, yeah, here we go. Get out your phones, guys. Anyone who's selling Brightstar is going to want this number. They used to do this call at install. Now you have the luxury of getting this at point of sale. We know how important that is. It's such a big deal to be able to knock this out with your customer right after you sign doc. So complete the sale in Quativa, hand it off, push it over, pop this phone number in, call with the homeowner. They're going to run through these 3 things. They want to make sure they know there's an escalator. Somebody put in the chat, is it only a 3.5? It is. So they're going to ask the homeowner about that. You know, they're going to talk to them about this being a lease and not a purchase, those kind of things. So make sure you tackle that. You can see their hours there. They're even open on Sundays, guys. So we really want to get this call knocked out at point of sale whenever possible. If not, Service Finance will try to circle back on your customer, but you know you want to be there with them when they make that call.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Lisa, for running us through the details on that. You guys are good on markets. You guys get it first. It'll expand to other states as well. I know some of you guys sometimes travel or go to different states to sell. We'll see, you know, the Carolinas, Illinois, Northeast start to hit it later this summer and other markets as well. So a quick reminder, last thing we have to show you, and then we'll get into any Q&A or anything, Andy, you want us to come back to, you can queue us up before we turn it over to Everett. But in the app, you've got a back office with all kinds of stuff, including these training videos built in. They're a couple minutes long. We just walk you through different steps. They're usually the easiest way to learn. Also, the chat support for Quativa, just a little question mark in the bottom left corner, will get you help. Average response time is 19 seconds, and our chat support for Quativa hours are right here on the screen. So please utilize that if you want the quickest help. And they can even remote in and like take over your screen and show you stuff if you get really stuck. So that's how we can support you. And we're also happy to do, you know, Andy's already done this week and has some other ones for us next week. If you guys want to set up trainings, you know you have an ESP rep. We are happy to set up trainings for your individual sales dealers or teams and get more in the details with you. There also is some major updates coming later today, Monday. This is a brand new product that just came out as far as a lot of the nuances of this industry first. So anytime you're doing industry first, you're going to have some things along the way that you want to enhance. So we've already gotten some feedback and how to make it easier to see savings and all sorts of different things. But as far as being able to sell deals right now, you're in a position to do that. So Andy, anything you want us to come back to or emphasize?
Yeah, this is awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Couple things. If you don't have it yet and you're already working with ESP and you want to work with Quativa and you want to get with Brightstar and you want stores to be part of it, reach out to your account executive. If you're a rep and you're watching this, reach out to your manager, the owner of your org, and they'll reach out to us and we'll get you guys set up. It's pretty easy, to be totally honest. It just takes a phone number to send a link and you get a text and you sign up. The second thing is, once you do that, Jess just showed you the whole page of all the training videos, and it's basic. Like, go through, watch, 20 minutes of videos and you're a pro. If
Andy,
you need
we
a little
even
bit
text every user that gets invited to the app. We text them a link to go to training where you can do a guided training, watch a video, answer questions, watch a video, answer questions. So
yeah.
you look for that link when you register because you're going to get some additional training resources that you can do at self-service anytime.
Yeah. And if for some reason those videos aren't driving and you're not picking it up, and you need a little bit of a more hand holding experience, give Lisa a call. She'll be able to walk you through and hold your hand across the street.
Let's get some deals. I'll help you. Don't leave the home. Let's work it out.
And then kind of the last thing here too is the approval process, which I know is like kind of the big thing about what's going on right now. It's really cool that Brightstar has created this process of where, if for whatever reason the homeowner gets denied, an option pops up that says this is how they can get approved. And I know anyone out there watching who's been doing this for a little while, typically when someone gets denied, that's the end. See ya.
Yeah.
or you're trying to think of another way, or do you have somebody else that can possibly co-sign or something like that? But this is a really cool way to help your customers get qualified, looking at like the savings-based approval process of just maybe they weren't saving enough, and that's what's going to make it qualify and create
Right.
that gap for them to get approved. But yeah, just I guess I could go on and on here with this, like the cool factor.
Yeah. Can I add to that, Andy?
Yeah.
Because it's really important to understand, when you put that application in, sometimes you get a second look or you get a counter offer and you've got to go and you've got to do things, right? You're going to run this application. It's going to go through standard underwriting. There's going to be some questions going on in the background. Let's say they don't meet that standard underwriting. They're going to automatically look in the background to see if that 10% savings is there and then give you an approval without you having to change anything, do anything. Customer doesn't know. You won't even know if they had standard approval or utility savings approval. Nothing's going to change for you unless it's priced too high, which again, doesn't really happen that often out in California with those rates. So as far as you're concerned, you put that application in, they could be getting a standard approval, they could be getting an express approval, and you're not going to know the difference because that path is the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I like that part. You don't have to go, try to rewrite it, run another contract,
Try a different
that stuff.
lender or whatever you're going to do to go through the steps to get them qualified. But
Yeah.
well, that's cool. Thank you again. Let's give Everett a little bit of time here to talk about his amazing products and the partnership. And let's get techie. Take it away, Everett.
Yeah, you got it, guys. So first off, appreciate you guys. I mean, it's been a ton of awesome work and hard work to get where we guys are at. I just want to give you guys props. I mean, team who's on this call, the amount of time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears and midnights to make sure you guys are enabled in every way, shape, or form, it's incredible. So first time I can honestly say in my career that I've seen this many large organizations come through with the common goal, willing to come through there and battle all the challenges and making sure you guys have the best alignment for a product all across the board. And through that, obviously Stores and Quativa and all the key partners here have gone through significant vetting to where we're in that role for a couple key reasons. So first off, Stores Power, been in business for 12 and a half years. Through that, we have the leading 25-year warranty, which means that customers don't have to worry about replacement of that inventory through the timeline of that lease over time. Secondly is that we're able to drive costs down, which allows us to actually enable more for the customer, meaning that payment's going to be most aggressive all the way through with no surprises long term. We'll kind of show you guys a quick little spliff here on a video, kind of give you guys some context behind us. Stores Power is 75% faster install than any other product that's on the market right now. Quick commissioning, saving the back of the installers, aesthetically pleasing. We can get into significant opportunities for the homeowners. The big things is we're smart, ultimately focusing on safety, and then significantly more powerful than the other competitors. What we're looking at right here is really applies during the California markets where when the sun's high, that solar is producing the home's loads, no matter what, while charging up that battery. But then as soon as that sun starts going down, we actually supply that power to support those loads off grid, which is really key for that 4 to 9 hour period of time where that cost of energy is at 40 to 65 cents a kilowatt hour. Yeah. We really want to be able to focus on that support. We're able to come in here and ultimately drive some really big, efficient homes, some really cool technology through here, and ultimately have the leading 25-year warranty all the way through the entire procedure here. That includes repair, replace, be able to support long, bigger loads, especially when people in California come home and plug in that electric vehicle. It's going to be really, really important that power is coming from the battery, not the grid, because that becomes a really expensive charge at that point. So we want to bring that up for California for that purposes. Now, in the case you want to venture into, hey, I am a homeowner, want to tackle my utility bill, but I want to make sure I have the peace of mind in case that power outage, that's where Stores Power comes in as well, because we're actually going to support from a backup standpoint where we can go anything from essential loads where those key essentials are covered all the way up to whole home battery backup. So those are some really cool benefits that we have from this. And when we say whole home battery backup, it's actually real. We're not having to worry about overpromising some of these features. Now, to access some of the really cool tech sides of this, I'm actually going to have you guys all pull out your phones. If you're on the phone, make a note. But if you're on an Apple device, you're cooler than everybody else. But we'll let the Android guys keep up. But ultimately, on an Apple, you're going to look for the black logo. Look for Stores Power AR. What's cool is right there with the homeowner, you want to have a overall virtual experience with them. You can actually virtually show what the system's going to look like right on the wall. And it kind of brings that reality forward, is that like, hey, this is tangible, working with a really cool technology company, which is awesome. The other thing too is if you actually click on Stores Power specs, it'll actually take you guys to what we call the partner portal. And in this case, it'll take you right here. If you're new to Stores, you're simply going to push the button that says register. And then once you're in there, all things Stores Power are there. There's customer visuals. There's also some really cool content that's going to be presentable for NEM 3.0, helping educate that homeowner. So if you look right here underneath training, you can see NEM 3.0. I've already got it loaded here. And so right here allows you to have all kinds of really awesome visuals for the homeowner to understand what's really going on in these utilities, what's happened with the step down of net metering, and ultimately where batteries are going to come in here, and what's happened pre and post, and where we're going to be tackling that on-peak usage in those afternoon hours. And this is actually being updated as we speak, because PG&E's already gone up again. And so cost of energy has even gone higher. And so this is where we can really help homeowners understand that key benefit in this situation. And it gets very, very granular, including best practices for solar system sizing and how we stack up with competitors. Now, why I stop on this slide is because we really do stack up extremely well against the competitors. If you see here, a lot of people focus on what we call about how big your battery is, the kilowatt hours of your battery. But are you making decisions on how big of a trailer you're going to pull or how much load you're going to pull? Load is equivalent to those home loads, that air conditioner, that electric hot water heater, electric range, the security system, EV charger. Are you making that decision on how much gas you have in the tank? First off, no, you actually have to bring the proper engine to the table initially. And so you can see here, as I zoom in, you can see the competitors. We're all similar as far as capacity, like a 10 kilowatt hour battery. You can see I've got 12 kilowatts of horsepower, where the Enphases and the Franklins of the world are in the 5s. And so that's where we're able to do double the support for the customer and making sure that they're realizing more savings. Because if all of a sudden I come home from school, work, and play at that 5, 6, 8 o'clock window, and all the devices start turning on, and I start looking for comforts like air conditioning and a hot meal, in that scenario, all that energy is now becoming a great demand. And we're finding that homes were using between 9 and 12 kilowatts of demand at any given time. So if I only had an Enphase 10 kilowatt hour battery, what happens is that I can only support 5.88 of that 9 kilowatt demand, require me to buy 3 from the grid because I'm capped out, right? And if you had to average buying 1 kilowatt hour a day that battery couldn't give you during that 4 to 9 hour window of time where that cost of energy is super high, you're averaging $227 a year in electric bill saving, just having to buy 1 kilowatt hour a day during that window of time. Imagine the amount of savings that we're going to see in addition to that, which is a really big focus for the Brightstar lease, is how we can actually account for the highest efficient application, low barrier of entry, with the performance that's going to contribute to electric bill savings. They're making this decision for savings, not because they're looking for the lowest payment, but ultimately is that payment means you're going to actually impact the bill more. And that's super, super important, okay? You can see some real life just to kind of show you. This home right here had a 13 kilowatt load at 8:05 p.m. This is real life, guys. We see the data across the entire America. We got over 35,000 batteries deployed. And so we know what the homeowners need. And so that's why we're super key in making sure that you guys understand the key value of Stores Power and where we actually bring. And so that's kind of what that looks like. And then a couple final comments here as far as support. Just so you guys know, we actually have something called white glove service. And this is where, on the support side, where you guys come in, you're getting preparation for an appointment, you're in the middle of appointment, start asking some interesting questions. Don't worry about that. Go to storespower.com and you can actually hit us up right here on the chat, okay? And you can grab us at any given time. And we say, hey, I'm in a home, I've got some questions I don't know how to answer. Or you can go to storespower.com and you can lock in our phone number on your cell phone and you can give us a call. We're there to give you additional support and answer those questions. We're never going to talk pricing. We're only here for technical support and sizing configurations. So I want to make sure you guys understand that we are here to help you guys out and make sure you're using that. And of course, we have a full ecosystem support all the way down for ESP through those pieces. To wrap up here is that when you're logged in and signed up for the portal, we definitely want to make sure you guys all have logins. I want you to go through and become product certified, become the subject matter experts. Make sure you guys have that education so you can answer those questions and you have that confidence within that customer base that you'll be approaching. So underneath here, we actually have 2 live product certifications every single week. And then additionally, we have that NEM3 certification that's every Wednesday. I challenge you guys to take the initial time, invest into that education, because I promise you you'll get that time back tenfold. So appreciate you guys an opportunity to be here today and making sure you guys understand the opportunity that we have. I mean, it's massive. Batteries are here to stay. As of Monday, we're sitting at an 86% battery attachment in California. Massive. Arizona's cranking up to 70%. I mean, the market is trending this way. And you've got to make sure you're investing time to have that knowledge, because the next guy that did that investment that comes before you or after you, that's how you lose a deal. So don't let it lose a deal when the information is right there on a platter right in front of you.
Yeah, guys, tap into that
over.
resource. I went to a couple of the webinars that Stores has and really was able to dive deeper with NEM 3.0 than I ever had before. And I've been in the industry for 10 years. So I saw it coming. We thought we knew, but they have some really good information for you guys, as well as the confidence in the product. Once you spend a little bit of time with them, you can hop on there for 45 minutes and you're going to want Stores on your house. That's what happened to me. So, I mean, it really is amazing. Take the time to go learn more about that product so that you guys can speak confidently to why it does everything that it does for that homeowner. It's actually going to end up saving them more.
I will
Absolutely.
third that.
Yeah. And we're going to get you solar, Jess. Get that DTI down.
Someday. Maybe
I know a guy.
we know a couple hookups, so can't help you with
Stores too.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Everett. That's great stuff. Very techy along the ways, but also very digestible. Yeah. So it's not above everyone's head. It's actually relatively easy to learn how and go through those trainings. Like he said, take the time, be the expert, be the pro, be the consultant that walks in and wows the homeowner, and it will make a difference. Take that 5 minutes to like learn a little bit. Take that 10 minutes to practice a little bit on the products that you guys are working with. And I know, everyone's probably kind of thinking here before we jump into some Q&A of like, well, how does this Brightstar thing stack up? What are the EPC prices? How does this compare to everything else out there? I will say I've done some side-by-side stuff in California. It looks really good. It looks very, very good. It's comparable. It's better. It's pretty solid. And so what I implore you to all do is get this set up, get this on your devices, take a couple spins at it, run the approval rates, and you're going to see this utility-based approval thing start to really come into play in all the neighborhoods that you're working in. Right? All the neighborhoods that you're knocking in. And, Jess just barely touched on the fact that Quativa also has the canvassing app built into it. So like, if you're looking for that tool along with this, game on.
Yeah. And if I can add one more thing, Andy, too, is that despite the fact of the competitive pricing, the security alone right now, the fact that you will get paid is the biggest question mark in the industry, right? Who doesn't have a friend or a friend of a friend or seen a Facebook post in the last 12 to 14 months or 16 months stating as like, hey man, anybody else getting paid from this group? A lot of times it's actually not the EPC or the dealer that's having the challenges getting paid. It's the fact that they physically were never funded by the lender. The lender is deferring and delaying payments right now. And it's because those are unregulated options and financing mechanisms out there to where Truist Bank with Service Finance and the key players behind this, they are federally governed. They didn't make the news in New York Times because they do things right. They're governed and they're secure. Have that understanding, because that investment you made has a return on investment. It is guaranteed. It's not a maybe. So take that to the bank, man, because you literally will be able to.
Cool. Yeah. So true. Thank you for mentioning that, Everett. Jess, last words. Lisa, last words before we jump into any Q&A or anything?
Go ahead, Lisa.
I'd just say to anyone on the call, if you haven't used Quativa, like Andy said, get with your account manager. Let's get you logins. We have some training resources. you guys are serious about wanting to put deals in, I'll meet with you and do some additional training. I don't think you'll need a lot of hand holding. It's pretty intuitive, guys. Once you get in, I've got guys that sign up and sell a deal that day. Jess and I have seen it, and they never even did the training. So, but we do want to support you. We do have chat support. Let us help you guys as you're launching. If you have bigger teams, we can do Zooms and stuff like that. So we're here to support you guys and help get you going with this.
And I just like whatever it said. You can tell he's been in the industry a long time and a lot of different vantage points. Like Everett gets to work with companies all across the nation. It's very similar. I'm sure he has a similar role as I do, which we call therapist for installers sometimes, because we get to hear all the pain they're going through, and Everett's sharing some of that, right? Like these aren't rumors. These are things that guys say, how quickly can you get me on this? I got to get off this thing because I'm struggling to, all of a sudden I got to do this to get paid and then move this. The goalposts are moving a lot. And solar's been hit pretty hard this last year. And so there's a lot of turmoil in financing in the world, and it's amplified in solar right now. So this is really built for guys that are looking for an easy way to sell a deal and a reliable way to get paid. There might be corners, different utilities that might get you a better payment by $4 with Everbright or LightReach or Sonova. Like we see it, right? But this has the same payment. Doesn't matter where you're selling in the whole country because it's an equipment lease. It's not a production lease. So easy, stable, reliable. That's really what this is built to be.
Love it. That's good stuff. Danny, any last words from you, bud?
I was just going to say, I mean, if you're on top of what Jess just said, if you're looking for a great solution that's really a win-win for everybody involved, I think this is a great option. And like Everett said, and like we've touched on, take those trainings, find those nuggets that are going to be your like takeaways that you can hit on, just like burn those bullet points into your brain. One thing that I'll throw out here, because I got to get in my dig at the power companies here. Utilities are getting worse at predicting power. My power has gone out 3 times in the last couple months for a fair amount of time, like a couple hours at a time. And I'm mad and I want batteries. And so I think that as that gets more common, we're in a heat dome, right? Like we're expecting one of the hottest years of the planet. And that means that utilities are going to be taking down the grid because people are turning on their ACs. So
fires have already started too in California.
Exactly. Like we're not to like use the scare tactics or anything like that, but like find a product like this that you can approach your customers and say, hey, you know what? Isn't it a pain in the butt dealing with power outages? Wouldn't you rather just have some security and some savings? Like just give them that peace of mind. Find a way, like I said, those nuggets, those bullet points that are going to let you go into every consultation with a homeowner and just have something great to leave them with. I think that's going to be huge. That's going to give you nothing but a leg up. So
awesome. Thanks, Danny. Well, it looks like the Q&A channel is clear. I think we've all kind of mentioned the things that are most important to us and like how this partnership really is unfolding here. I challenge you to get Quativa downloaded, take a look at what Brightstar is doing, use stores, ask your account executives about it, ask your managers, ask your admins, get this involved in your offering. You're going to be surprised and you're going to love it, I think, when you start to see a lot more approvals come through and the pricing's pretty awesome. But take a look at it, compare it to what you got out there already. Other than that, man, it's solar season. It's summertime. We got some cool stuff on offer. Let's rock and roll.
got those summer bummer bills coming. Like Brandon said the other day, let's tackle them before they get nasty.
Awesome. Cool.
Guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Let's
Thanks
rock.
for having us on, guys. Good
Let's
seeing
go.
you.
Happy Friday. Happy selling. See ya.